engaged with the CSR and inclusion initiatives across the organizations that I have worked with. And having engaged closely in hiring and skilling large teams, I am personally very, very excited and vested in the topic that we are here to discuss today. So I welcome you all to today's Tech Saksham Fireside Chat virtual event powered by SAP Code Unnati and Microsoft Philanthropy. SAP India and Microsoft, in collaboration with EduNet Foundation, under their CSR initiative, launched the Tech Saksham program for enabling, empowering, and accelerating young women learners from underserved communities and backgrounds towards technology careers. The program aims to upskill young female learners in areas of IR 4.0 that include artificial intelligence, cloud computing, web design, and digital marketing. This program also provides its learners with opportunities to collaborate and interact with experts from the industry and leverage self-paced certifications from Microsoft and SAP, thereby ensuring industry readiness. It supports the women by providing employability training and making them job ready. Today's Tech Saksham Fireside Chat virtual event has two panels. And for the first panel, I would like to welcome our Tech Saksham co-founders, Ms. Manju Dhasmana, leads CSR and Community Affairs at Microsoft, and Mr. Gunjan Patel, Head of CSR for SAP Indian Subcontinent. Let us now hear more about the Tech Saksham program from them. So hi Manju, hi Gunjan.
Hi Nupur.
Good evening. Hi Nupur.
So Manju, let me begin with you. Can you elaborate a little more about the Tech Saksham initiative and what it's all about?
Right. So, Nupur, thank you so much. But I think first, maybe I could just give a warm welcome to all the participants from both me and Gunjan. I know this is late at night, late evening for a lot of our students, our faculty who's joining in. And I believe there are also people joining in from SAP and Microsoft. So a big, big welcome to everyone. And a big thanks to EduNet Foundation, who's helped facilitate that. And of course, Nupur, you, because you've really, generously consented to kind of, facilitate the session. So thank you so much for all of you and your participation here. So, Nupur, I think a lot of people are going to talk about the program. We also have WebHub. When you say co-founders, maybe you can think that Gunjan and I were the ones who had the idea. But when we looked at co-creation and co-design, EduNet was very much a part of that, and WebHub and Nagesh from there were part of it. So they're going to talk more about it. I think I would like to maybe just focus a little bit in terms of why does this program excite us, right? Why is it that me and Gunjan, with the kind of work we have, are on calls almost every week with the EduNet team? Why is it that we are so invested in this program? So first thing I would like to say is that we don't think of it as a program. And I think I can say it on behalf of Gunjan too, that for us, this is a movement, right? This is in a way like something that we want to do, which is catalytic and not just a program that we're doing, right? And why is that so in my own view? Because there are three things that I believe that this program is trying to do. When I think about the program, I think about three things. One, I think, is opportunity. So what is the opportunity we really have, right? Now, if you look at India, India actually is in the top 4, if you look at the top countries where AI jobs are coming up, right? And despite the pandemic, that hasn't really slowed down. But yet the reality is also that 1% of graduates in India actually have, when you talk to employers, you'll hear from them that there is another 4% who say that they're ready for jobs, right? They have to do a lot of skilling of young people when they hire them. The other thing is, so we really have an opportunity. There are these growing jobs. How do we connect young people from rural areas to these opportunities, really? I think the second opportunity that I really see is that when we look at young women's participation in labor force, right? We all know that women's participation in general has been going down. It's still kind of stable in the tech sector, but we have an opportunity, again, as I say, that as we talk about cloud and AI, making sure that we're not behind and that we are actually making sure that young women are joining this movement that we are creating. I think the other thing that I think of when I think of this program is partnership. It's an ecosystem play. It isn't just about skilling 2,500 girls or 60,000 people, but how do you ensure really and make sure that the ecosystem in the country is getting ready for cloud and AI, which is really going to be the future, right? And I think the third thing that I would like to say, and then I will flip it over to you, Nupur, which excites me a lot, is India for the world. That is the most exciting, right? And why India for the world? A lot of us are talking about skilling today on AI, but we also know that AI has the potential, cloud and AI has the potential to solve for the biggest societal challenges that are facing the world today. We know that innovation is the key to solve some of those. So I think as I talk to some of the students and the students are hearing me, I would like you to think of this not as just a job for you, but really, really a chance to create and solve for problems that are facing the world right now, right? So AI for good, AI for innovation is something that I think is very, very critical. So Nupur, these are my thoughts. I know there are other people who will talk about the program. I would let them talk about the program, but this is what excites me. This is what wakes me up. This is what gets me to pick up the phone and talk to Gunjan every second day and want to meet the students. I'm excited that now that we have less of COVID, I can actually go and meet the faculty. So we're very excited and lovely to be here. And over to you, Nupur.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that with us, Manju. And I think we all kind of share that excitement. We are in this cohort together because I think we all kind of share your passion for making a paradigm shift when it comes to, AI for the world, India being prepared to take on these challenges now. And I'm just glad that we have more initiatives like this coming up. So thanks for that, Manju. And I'd like to ask Gunjan. So Gunjan, what were the reasons that brought corporates like Microsoft and SAP to collaborate for an initiative like Tech Saksham?
Yeah, thanks, Nupur, and good evening to everyone, to students, faculties, and our partners. Yeah, this is it's a very exciting partnership that we have, and I want to pick up some of the key factors why we want to work in a partnership. So besides the obvious rationale that India is the youngest country demographically, wherein there are more than 250 million youth in 18 to 25 years of age group. I mean that statistics may vary here and there, but from that perspective, it's a vast country. And what Manju highlighted, the opportunity that is there for India as the job point of view in the areas of AI. And on the same as I mean, if I want to look at a con, which is like a 18 to 20 percentage of the young women are in the IT workforce or in this domain. So how we can address this problem, and this is, mind you, that it cannot be resolved by one entity, organization or government alone. This has to be partnership led, and partnerships can only be forged when you have like-minded people, people whose vision match with one another or each other. That would really help us take this partnership forward. And before we actually start Tech Section program, Manju and I have deliberated about this program for and nuances of the initiative for almost 6 to 8 months, and uh, discussed various aspects, what it should cover, what it should deliver. And very importantly, it is not just a program, but how we actually build the ecosystem, how we actually help young women to build career pathways, and essentially in the geographies where typically such industry collaborations are not very profound or very enabling. And that's where we felt that this Tech Section program can be one of the opportunities for the students. I would also like to highlight few key aspects of this collaboration, and that's where we are able to leverage each other's strengths, or complement on what we feel that can bring a complete whole. So for example, let's say mentorship. Both SAP and Microsoft together are creating a fantastic mentorship program for the students. I believe we have almost 10 plus training sessions for the students, where our respective employees actually take the students through the journey of core topics on Industry 4.0, AI, etc., or workforce readiness, and how students should actually make their career or make their pathways more ready for the future work. Another thing, I think we believe in cultivating the pool of faculties, and that's key part to this program to make it more sustainable, to take it to last mile, or to extend it to tier 2 and tier 3 towns. I think Manju was quite instrumental in bringing some of those collaborations in our partnership, whether it is AICT or some of the other government organizations, and EduNet played a very pivotal role in making it instrumental. So when I say partnership, I think this is the kind of model that we have embarked on since last 5 odd years. But I think this one particular partnership is growing in leaps and bounds, and I think we are growing strength to strength. And probably as we progress, we would also like to share with students that what opportunities lies ahead them, what they can leverage from this particular initiative for their career, and so forth. So with that, Nupur, I will hand it off to you again.
Thank you, Gunjan. Thanks for sharing that. I think increased awareness, participation, and solutioning from organizations like yours is definitely key in moving towards a more employable and confident workforce. I think the fact that you are not just talking about a program, but you're also kind of close looping and going the last mile by, ensuring mentoring. Because what happens usually is, and from personal experience, I can tell you this, that one is what you learn. The other is when you have the confidence of somebody kind of supporting you by hand holding you and kind of taking you through what you may not have learned in the theory part of it per se, and somebody can mentor you through the confidence part of it. So I think it's absolutely brilliant. Manju, can you explain how the Tech Saksham program addresses the skill gap between the academia and the industry, which we all understand is definitely an opportunity area for us today?
Right. I think, again, I would say that, EduNet and Weber were best placed to answer that question. But I think, Nupur, one of the things that we were very aware of when we started off is that we are looking at colleges which are NACP and NACC accredited, right? We're looking at colleges in rural areas. We're not talking about colleges in urban area. We've been very thoughtful on going for these colleges. It would have been really easy for us to go for colleges in, let's say, a Bangalore or a Delhi or, even a Hyderabad. But when we looked at these colleges, one thing we did understand is that young women particularly need good role models, right? And one of the problem has been that there are not so many women role models who are in cloud and AI or tech for them. They are there, but they don't have access to them. So I think definitely one thing we are looking at doing is, of course, SAP and Microsoft employees are getting closer to a lot of these young women, right? And we're also interacting more with the faculty. But I think the opportunity also lies that both Microsoft and SAP are, global leaders in the areas that we work. And we work with maybe like thousands of other organizations who are similar in intent and in like this, right? So we're also looking at how we can bring a lot of them in a couple of ways, right, Nupur? One is, of course, the volunteering and mentoring. How can they really come in and volunteer and mentor? And this is more about role modeling. But at the end of the day, we also have to get these young people ready for job roles. And we know that these job roles fluctuate every day, right? It's
Right.
not the same role it was there 2 months back. How do we make sure that we are constantly making our content dynamic? And one way to do that is to have some of our industry experts from these organizations come in and guide us on our content, right? We're also, me and Gunjan, looking at talking to other corporates to come in as potential employers. So, of course, EduNet team is doing that already. So we already have a number of employers who come on board. But through our work and through the work that SAP and Microsoft does with our ecosystem, how do we bring more of them? Particularly as you look at young women, I think it's important that a lot of them may not have the same mobility as some of our young boys have. So we need to look at opportunities there itself. But the academia and that whole industry disconnect that you talked about, the faculty development program also wants to address that, right? So making sure that while we are upskilling our young people, we're also upskilling the faculty, because a lot of our faculty may not have gone through cloud and AI, particularly as we look at more rural areas. So that's another area that we're bringing in. So many ways we are bringing this in. Some it's happening organically, because when you start a program, as you see gaps happening, you start addressing it. But as we look at now launching the second year of our project, we're very consciously and thoughtful looking at bringing more of these elements. So it's not just Microsoft and SAP. As I said, this is a movement, and movements only grow when you have more people coming in. So we want to bring in more people to partner with us in this journey.
I think you've articulated that rather well, Manju. And personally speaking, again, I think it's very important to kind of connect the two. It's important. I couldn't agree more with you on the need for both equal opportunity skilling as well as sustained employability. So what you're essentially telling me is that not only are you coaching and training these young women, but you're also creating more opportunities for this to become a wider network of faculty, as well as a wider network of organizations that are committed to making this a success, and therefore creating larger employability for the women workforce in India. And also I think what might come about as one of the collateral benefits of this is also it makes women definitely more confident, and I think we are upskilling them for life. And therefore, even if it's not just with these organizations, there's a sustained employability for these women for life. So kudos to you guys. I mean, brilliant stuff so far. Gunjan, I have a question for you. Can you help us understand what is workforce readiness, and why do you believe that it's so significant to bring in a concept of workforce readiness at a college level, and how do you really drive it through tech section?
Sure. So, Nupur, I think I would not get into what's a dictionary definition of workforce readiness, or what other organizations define it. For us, I think, or essentially for me, it is very simple that how workforce readiness can become a bridge between your academic journey to a corporate journey, or your academic journey to your journey to a startup or your own enterprise. Uh, Fundamentally, what workforce readiness is, that on one side, a student needs to have certain core technical skills. On the other side, these technical skills need to be aptly and adequately supplemented by those competencies which one needs to perform in your day-to-day job, or to run your startup or social ventures or whatever you want to aspire to be. Now, workforce readiness is also preparedness for one's journey into a corporate culture, I would say. And I would just take a corporate job as a persona to better define what workforce readiness is all about. So basically, I feel it's a critical, inevitable set of competencies that students need to have. Uh, it's not only sufficient for one to demonstrate one's own core skills, but when we are in a corporate setup, we work in a team. So how one delivers a particular job and achieve goals and objectives in a team, or how one becomes more agile and work towards achieving those goals or objectives that are set. So basically, what tech section program does is also prepare the students to understand various nuances and requirements of a potential work culture, prepare them with how they become more quote unquote suitable for those kind of work culture, and work in a constantly changing environment. Like we've heard this terminology called VUCA of late quite often, and that's essentially students need to understand that your core skill will take you up to certain level, but these are your let's say employable 21st century skills and competencies that will actually help you thrive in your career, that will help you thrive to drive your own venture. So what we do under workforce readiness is also bring in professionals from both Microsoft, SAP, and some of the other organizations. They share their journey. We did some of the sessions with women, lead in our respective organizations, and they actually shared their journey, how they transcend from a students to let's say product developer or a product manager, or so and so forth. So how core tech skills and other competencies help us a particular person to grow. it may also be a part of, let's say, how I as a student can face and appear in a particular interview, or get into, let's say, make my pitch right when if I want to run my own startup. These are some of the personal traits that one needs to develop. uh, let's say strengthen one's communication skills, presentation skills, build your own profile. Microsoft and LinkedIn are the powerful in that. So we do have support, and actually mentorship and coaching from these experts to enable students that how you can make your profile very strong while also demonstrating your core skills, your core tech skills. So basically, workforce readiness is a combination of, or I would say, it's these are the competencies which will actually enhance your core skills and make you more relevant, more suitable for the changing job environment. And the tech space is something which is changing so rapidly and dynamically. So that also we need to keep imbibing into the students that what you are learning today may not be relevant. What would be relevant is your own inherent abilities to constantly learn and evolve yourself, adapt yourself to the existing requirement and the situation. And that's what I think essentially would define as the workforce readiness.
Very, very well articulated and very well said. Rightly so. I think your point that you made on, certain skills ensuring that you get a job, but needing many other softer aspects of, these skills to actually thrive in a business environment. And we've actually seen it very often. The people who survive and grow in organizations are the ones who kind of imbibe a lot of these values that you kind of just listed out, a lot of the skills that you kind of just listed out. So thanks for sharing that insight, Gunjan.
Just
So,
point here, Nupur, I think what I wanted to also comment here is that with EduNet Foundation, and they really help that, not just make this as a typical learning or training program, but ensuring that there are adequate number of expert-led sessions also. And I think Vaibhav would further elaborate. But bringing experts from our industries, and that's I think really unique. And I want to urge to all the students and their friends that do leverage this. I think when, let's say, I was growing up, I never knew what mentorship is all about or what coaching is all about. We had to create our own pathways by, with all the failures. So I think that's an opportunity for the students.
yeah, we got slapped around into it. We had to learn the hard way. But yeah, thanks. Very pertinent point. And I'm hoping the audience here is listening in very, intently and keenly, and they're going to pick up on these, tips that you're kind of sharing with them. So thanks for that, Gunjan. Manju, I'm sure the audience is keen to know about Tech Saksham 2.0 and what your approach for that looks like. Could you elaborate on that?
First of all, just I think I've covered that a little bit, Nupur. I think मैं थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में बात कर चुकी हूँ, क्योंकि बीच में जब आपने पूछा था, I spoke about what our plans for the next year are. But if I think about what are some of the areas that I think we need to grow in, is that I think we have to keep pushing more and more on how do we, like I love to say this and I will say it again and again. If there are people of my team who've joined in, they would be like, okay, there goes Manju again. That as the world moves to cloud and AI, make sure that no one gets left behind, right? And making sure no one gets left behind means that we keep moving more deeper into colleges, into institutes with young people who don't have access to this, right? So I think first is, how are we really going to be looking at equitable access? And I think I'm very carefully saying equitable and not just equal access, right, to these opportunities. So I think that's really a big part of our conversation. I think I've already spoken about that. How do we create a sustained employment and mentoring opportunities? And the only way to do that is to bring more partners along with us, to make sure that we have content which is relevant as of now to the different job roles that are really available. Also making sure that wherever these young people are, as much as possible, instead of them moving to another area, can we really help them tap into opportunities there, and actually also help employers who are telling us that there isn't talent available, to actually tap into local talent which is committed to inclusive that region, right? So doing much more of that. And I think the third piece is here, what I think me and Gunjan, when we were designing the program, were very clear that while all of us are co-founder, co-designers, the people who are most important here are the colleges, the principals, all the stakeholders, and the faculty. Because, students will roll on, they'll get the job, they'll move on. And we really hope that they continue to, encourage more students to take on this course. But the faculty and the colleges are very critical. We are working with certain number of colleges now. We want to scale and grow that. Of course, that is one ambition. But there's also a deeper quality level scaling we want to do. What do I really mean by that? I think as some of these colleges and most of these colleges actually grow in their own skill strength to do cloud and AI, wherever these colleges are, can they become like role models? Can they become like innovation hubs for other smaller colleges which are around and they have the same ambition, right? So it's like, the multiplier effect. So it's literally like going off in all directions, right? So we started it off, then we have colleges. Then imagine if every college, if we are working with 50 now and we work with 100 in second year, if each one of that college actually takes on 10 college, 20 college, 10, 30 colleges and mentor them, then we can really grow this, right? Much more. So I think that's also another area that we are absolutely looking at. I wouldn't say it's Tech Saksham 2.0. I think we're still a little away from it, Nupur. I think it's still the first version of Tech Saksham. We still have to, as Gunjan keeps saying, we have to make it more sustainable. I think we're still a little away from 2.0, but I would just say it's version 1.1.
Fair enough.
for the next
Fair enough. I think as long as there's enhancement and learnings of probably the first rollout being incorporated in a wider outreach being planned, 1.1, 2.0, it's all nomenclature, right? We're just happy to know that there's more coming our way. So definitely very exciting, Manju. I'm certain that like the first program or version 1, Tech Saksham 1.1 will also hugely benefit all aspiring women students as well as faculty alike. So I'm excited about that too. So thank you for that. Gunjan, can you advise what are the key challenges that Tech Saksham as a program is addressing? I mean, while we've discussed some of them, but is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
So let's understand, some of the core challenges of the ecosystem and how we universalize or democratize this technology education. And India is a vast country. The demography is huge and diverse. So even Microsoft and SAP together alone also may not be able to reach out to a large number of students. So I think collaboration would be key, and we are keen to look at more collaborate and ensure that programs become sustainable. And sustainable means that somewhere down the line it needs to roll on its own rather than we push it to be rolled out. Other thing is I would not say is a challenge, but somewhere it was also being impacted by the COVID situation, and somewhere also we have to work on it is to build more awareness about the importance of some of the skills and importance of why students or why or which way academia and industry collaborate. I think this is one area of improvement that we need to work on, and this is what with EduNet team we are continuously trying to work out. Um, and another third area which Manju's touched upon, which I want to elaborate further, is to create opportunities in the local ecosystem rather than not that we do not want people to migrate for better but or for good, but importantly why not create more opportunities in many more geographies that India has, rather than one IT hub or one financial hub of a country. Let there be 10 IT ecosystems in India, let there be 10 financial hubs in India, or 20, 30. It's a vast country, and can we create enabling infrastructure for the students by virtue of training, by virtue of career pathways, by virtue of better industry academia collaboration? I think those are few areas of improvement that we need to take it back in our approach and in our deliverables.
Definitely. And now given the fact that, our tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities are so well connected, I think it's only about time that we kind of thought of a much deeper approach rather than thinking, okay, somebody has to travel to a metro to kind of do these kind of programs, and making it, I think that in itself makes the, program outreach better when it's more easily accessible. So yeah, so thanks for touching upon that. But you did mention, and Manju also did specify about, the mentorship programs, etc. But can you share with me specifically how Microsoft and SAP are both individually as well as collaboratively working towards, the implementation of this initiative in your own workspaces, and maybe anything else you're doing for the outreach?
Gunjan, you want to take it, Gunjan, first? Go ahead.
Yeah, so so I think so you touched upon few aspects, Nupur. Number one, let's say, which is very critical alongside lab-based learning, project-based learning, which is mentorship, right? So there, we design and define some of these topics, and how both Microsoft and SAP experts or employees also can take up by virtue of mentorship. So that we need to calendarize this to ensure that while we do not overlap and overwhelm the students with these topics, we also pace it out in such a way that there is a continuous and at a reasonable frequency these inputs are there. Number two is, I think, initially we were whatever we have deliberated upon, where how we what kind of topics we can take up, what kind of geographies we should venture into. Now that we are very certain that how this program can reach out to each and every state and union territories of India, and one of the approaches that we have is create nodal centers, which EduNet team is creating along with universities and institutions, which actually would act as cascade model. So, and I previously highlighted cultivate the pool of teachers. I think we are emphasizing heavily on cultivating these teachers and faculties, so that there is a drop down, or there is a cascade effect by virtue of them further training more and more students. Other thing is, bringing some of the incentivization and competition, and that would also help students to healthily compete amongst one another. Similarly, also amongst various faculties, we did have several challenges in last 6 7 months, also because of COVID and restrictions of not being able to work on ground. But I think in 2022 and beyond, collectively we want to see that how we actually also build that culture of student exchanging each other's thoughts, or working in projects which are students from one geography and or multiple geographies can work together on some of the projects virtually. Uh, we are also trying to bring in some of the internship with startups, with local industries, and with industries which are located elsewhere in prominent clusters. So that would also help us to run this as an institutionalized initiative. And what Manju put it aptly is, it's a movement, right? So we really want to ensure that this movement becomes inclusive and sustainable.
Right.
I mean, if I could just, I think Gunjan really summed it up very well. I think, Nupur, if I can just give you a sense, and you know this very well, that when we interact with our employees, there's I think there's a deep interest and a deep intent to do something and to contribute. And I think this has just got heightened by COVID, right? So I spoke about opportunity, right? This is also an opportunity. As people look at their priorities, they look at their own life choices. Many of them really want to be in a place, they either want to move into roles like this, they have future plans to do that, but they also want to be, while they're doing their day jobs, be able to contribute. So I think the other thing that we are trying to do, as Gunjan says, institutionalizes. One is to do this one off, but there are teams inside both SAP and Microsoft which are very well placed to actually bring both the technical expertise, but also talk a lot about what is required to succeed in a job role. And I think ultimately what we do want to do is that have these people become like change makers themselves, like take on the onus of really mentoring some of these young people into job roles and stay with them. But also within the organization, they can become advocates for you, right? I mean, that's the exciting part. They can become advocates if you have we have some really team which are excited about it. They can go back to their managers and say, hey, can we really give you an apprenticeship opportunity? Can we really create more hiring into our own organization? And that can only happen slowly. So I also want to bring the other piece of it, that there is this intent, and we are looking at how we can capitalize on it in an institutional way. And Nupur, I miss bringing this up in my initial thing, so I will just maybe stop my bit with this, is that another critical partner for us is government. I think both SAP and Microsoft, we realize that as I mean, this is really something we would like to be a public-private, civil society, academia partnership, right? And we're already partnering with at least 4 organizations. Wherever we'll talk about it, but more and more we want to partner more with state governments, federal governments, and kind of, because this is an attempt to strengthen what they're doing. They're doing a lot, right? And that is the reason why, despite low numbers in India, when you look at gender diversity on tech roles or cloud and AI, we're still doing much better than most countries, right? And we'll continue.
That's true.
So we want to strengthen that. So that's just one piece that I'd miss bringing up. I just wanted to bring that up.
No, I'm glad you brought that out, Manju, because I think now more than ever, the ecosystem is very, very receptive and very, very ready for something like this. I mean, had we spoken about this a couple of years back, I wouldn't have been so sure. But like you said, we've already made some positive strides, and I'm sure there'll be eagerness to partner with all of you on this initiative. So good luck for that. But thank you both Manju and Gunjan. Thank you very much for highlighting the program structure, the vision, as well as the scope in such great detail. Thank you so much for your time. We will now move on to our second panel, for which I would like to welcome Dr. Inderpreet Kaur, Professor, Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, Ludhiana. Ms. Shitu Ahuja, Deputy Registrar, Delhi Skill Entrepreneurship University, Delhi. Mr. Vaibhav Oswal, Director Programs, EduNet Foundation. Dr. Jaspal Bagga, Professor and Vice Principal, Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Chhattisgarh. And Ms. Guna Sundari from Government Engineering College, Thanjavur, Tamil Nadu, who is representing the young women learners enrolled under the Tech Saksham program. So I'd like to start with Ms. Shitu, and I'd like to ask you, from your experience, Ms. Shitu, can you share how did your institution benefit from the Tech Saksham program?
So to start with, I would first like to say that I'm very happy to hear about skilling that is coming from Manju and Gunjan, because when we came up with the concept of a skill university, frankly telling you, if I talk about just myself, it was really a new concept for me also. Because prior to this, I worked with standard universities that are there. I was working with IIIT Delhi, which is a great engineering institution in Delhi, a state university. So the concept of skilling itself is very new for me. And hearing it from Manju and Gunjan, that is the industry people, it's even more kind of, I'm happy to hear that. So I'll first tell you about DSCU, what it is, and how such programs are really helpful, then I'll come to that. Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University was established in the year August 2020, which is very new, you can say. The excellent philosophy with which the university was created is that we thought of equipping students with a world-class skill education to enable access to the aspirational jobs that students search for. And the other thing that we were looking for is our students should have entrepreneurship mindset when they step out of the university. These two things, what I feel are a kind of entrepreneurship nowadays, most of the universities have started focusing on, but skilling, I'll say that it is still missing in many of the universities. So the two main objectives with which the university came up with are to change the existing paradigm of skilling make skilling acquisition aspirational, and provide an opportunity to all for skilling, upskilling, and reskilling. The other objective that the university is having is support and nurture the entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurship. So definitely when we came up with DSCU, and this is the first batch 2021, where we took students in and we started the classes, one challenge that we always face is this, that when we hire professors, they are from typical background where learning skilling for them is also a new thing. That means they have to first learn the skill. So when we do hiring in a simple way, that we are hiring assistant professors, associate professors, then the skilling part is still missing somewhere. Now, such kind of programs, if I talk about Tech Saksham, such kind of programs definitely add value to the vision of the universities like DSCU. Because to bridge the skilling gap, what we are trying to do, means how we are trying to bridge the skilling gap, is we are taking students, we are doing industry interactions, we are sending our students for the industry visits. Then what we are doing is we are kind of doing industry partnerships. Now, program like Tech Saksham, I think the curriculum, it helps our student to bridge that gap that is prevailing. Means we can't, let's say we want to offer a small web development program as a part of our curriculum, which is an important skill for some students of some of the programs. So hiring a faculty who can teach them web developer will not be a kind of lucrative option for the university, but offering a short program for them with the help of, you can say, organizations by bringing in Tech Saksham in. So it is a fruitful and a good option for the universities to go on in that way. This is one such module that I'm talking about. In any program that the students are doing, definitely there are a number of such skills that the students need. And if we kind of collaborate with the EduNet kind of organizations and go on with it, it always helps a university to run these programs and add skilling to the program in an easy way. And definitely industry expertise, as I said, you can't find that expertise in-house in a university. Industry expertise adds much value in the sense that industry people are updated also. They know the latest technologies, which again, if a university professor want to learn, they need to learn themselves and then teach to the university. So that value is also added by such kind of programs.
Absolutely. I think, like you rightly said, the industry experience that kind of comes in, one, because they are updated, but also because they're practically, dealing with these situations in a day-to-day environment. And therefore, I think that kind of brings with it some amount of experience, wisdom, etc., which they can, impart to the faculty as well. So for you, what, as per you, are the key learnings from this initiative? What would you say are the key learnings from the Tech Saksham initiative for you?
So I personally feel that Tech Saksham initiatives is a way to basically universities' overall philosophy. No doubt, very few universities are currently working on this thing, that how to bring in the skill in the curriculum. But yes, programs like Tech Saksham makes our life a bit easy. I'll say that one. The initiative helps universities to easily add the skilling paradigm in the curriculum, which if we don't have such programs, it will be tough for us. This initiative also helps us think about the curriculum requirements in a more precise form. The other thing that is there is, in addition to the above learnings that I've already mentioned, the three key additions that I see are this. It helped our students understand the relevance of industry-focused learning, because the reason is that they are continuously interacting with the people from industry. So it definitely helps them understand how it is important, one. Then it helped our student to access the technologies that are available in the companies, which no doubt means any university can spend as much amount as they want to build to make big research labs and everything. But then the technology that is available with the industry partners, that is something which they're using in their day-to-day functioning. And hence, if the students get access to it, it is very helpful for them. So that gives a better understanding to the student about that also. It also helped our student to pave out a way for themselves. So as Manju and Gunjan were talking about, that the students understand various things from a different perspective when they attend these programs. So I totally agree with that, that students kind of get groomed within themselves and start understanding the things in a much better way, that how they can make their way, how they can, what kind of growth chart can be there, what kind of career they can go into. So this program definitely helped them with all those things also.
Great, great. Thanks, Ms. Chitu. So what would be your advice to other institutions, colleges, universities regarding this program?
So the curriculum that is offered by Tech Saksham, it follows a two-tier delivery model. One is the program engagement focus on learning and acquiring the skills to understand the application of the technology. The second is the activity-led modular engagement to practice and implement the skills that they have learned. So these are the two things basically that Tech Saksham is following in the approach to run this program. Such an engagement, I think, is very beneficial for the students to understand the industry perspective before they reach the industry. Because definitely, if I talk about a UG graduate, by the time he graduates, he's just 21. No doubt he's an adult, but that understanding of the industry still lacks. Like if I talk about a student graduating from class 12th and entering in the college, the understanding of the student about which program to do is kind of still lacks. And nowadays, these organizations who are conducting career counseling sessions and everything, they help such students to understand what exactly they should aspire for. So same, I'll say that such programs help students understand in which kind of industry they want to land up, what kind of profile they want to choose. So it is very helpful for students. Now, the programs offered by Tech Saksham are indeed another excellent way to bring the industry perspective. Other than the technological aspect of the programs, I think it helps students in personal grooming. The second thing is, I think they learn by doing the things, which the skill concept mostly talks about, that once you do and learn, the learning that comes out is really, really good. Then the mentoring by industry experts is again, which helps student understand that the professional side of the world, that how to talk to others in a professional way, how to stand out and all those things. And understanding about the job profiles, because the people who are working in the organization, they can tell better about how exactly the things will turn out when you land up in the industry and what kind of profiles you will get. Wonderful. So these are the advice that I think institutions should go on with such kind of programs, because it definitely add value to the students in all these ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for that, Ms. Shitu. Vaibhav, I'd like to seek your views on, how is the Tech Saksham program beneficial for the students and faculties respectively in your view?
Hey, hi, Nupur. Good evening, everyone. I think so, Manju mentioned, right? It's not a program, it's a movement, right? Which we are driving to ensure that there is a lot of inclusivity in the workplace, especially around the tech jobs for the students, and also more importantly, democratizing the tech in general, right? Taking these key IR 4.0 technologies back to the colleges and so on. So from a student perspective, like Dr. Shitu also mentioned, right? It's more like it's in a holistic program, which not only just focuses on the hands-on technical skills for a student, but also, covers or lays a special focus on these employability skills or professional skills, that I think so Gunjan also mentioned, right? Which will hold them in a good stead in not just to get the job, but also to grow within their careers and so on, ensuring that they have a great employability ahead. And programs like, in the program design, when we have these sessions for students, which are more volunteer-led, getting the experts from industry to come collaborate, interact with the students, right? For several activities, it could be about talking about new technologies or tools available out there, or the current trends in the industry, or talking about, the future of the jobs in general, right? Or what skills they need to have, kind of stuff. I still remember, one of these volunteering sessions where we had, an industrial IoT demo from a lab, in Germany of SAP, and having our students get that experience of understanding a real world demo, is I think so just a great opportunity for our students to gather from the program. And like Gunjan also emphasized on the aspects of getting an experience of not just learning the skills, but getting enough experience of workplace even before they join the workforce from that perspective. So the element of capstone project which we have, the element of innovation which the CAT capstone project brings from the students, right, ensures that they're not just learning certain skills and so on, but they know how to apply those skills back to really solve a problem, work together in a team, right? So giving them that more close to a workplace kind of an environment even before they get into that kind of a safe. So I think so it's all about for a student more of a experience in addition to the skills which they're learning and getting into the industry career from that perspective. And from a teacher perspective, like I think so we've been talking a lot about it. It is one definitely ensuring that there is definitely enhancing the technical capacity of the teachers themselves so that they can go ahead include those learnings one definitely as part of that in their own project or research, so that it sets them on a path of a continuous learning process and keep on evolving from that perspective. And more importantly, stay in touch with what's happening in the industry, right? Bridging the so-called the divide between academy and industry, which we spoke of, right? And more importantly, at a broader level, since the objective, we have been talking about is to democratize the technology from that perspective, it is relevant for them that we essentially, when you're training the faculty members, it's not just about training, it's about making sure that they have a framework and necessary support and enablement to take and replicate that learning back into their classrooms, right? So that it is not just about getting certain skills and so on, but they are able to inculcate that learning and pass it down back to different students and enable thousands more through the program which we're trying to do it from here. That is what I believe is a great opportunity for teachers and students. How can they leverage this program in general?
Definitely. And what is it that is expected from these institutions when they decide to participate in the Tech Saksham initiative? Like, what is it that we expect from them?
Correct. And again, I'm going to quote Manju here when she said it is the institutes, the college management, the teachers, or the sparks, right? They're very valuable part of the entire ecosystem and very important from the perspective of the success of the program. Because one, definitely, like Gunjan was mentioning about that there is a very much need that the college leadership, right, inculcates this or spreads this overall environment of saying that, okay, there is a need of skilling, and there is a need of certain level of skills. When Manju said, okay, hey, India is for the world, right? And getting these skills in the jobs like AI and cloud and so on, right, are very much important. So it's important role of a college, and that's what we expect them, that they counsel and coach the students towards the relevance of the skills and how important these in terms of how it will play for their careers and growth from that perspective. Secondly, an active involvement. I think so Professor Shitu here is an excellent example of how they are helping and working collaboratively with us, right, in ensuring that the students are going through the program continuously, motivating them to complete the program activities and going ahead, so that at any point of the time where the student feels, okay, oh, there is a gap, or I'm not able to move ahead, there is a necessary support ecosystem, right, which is available at the college and through us to ensure that the students remain successful. And lastly, I think so one more point which we discussed, it's all about creating these role models, right? We have quite a few, and I think so we will interact with one of the role models, right? But it is important that colleges themselves internalize these role models, showcase it amongst their own internal audience and to the other institutes within their locality, right? so that they start promoting this ecosystem of ensuring that the students are learning these new skills and they're geared for programs like these and so on.
Absolutely, Vaibhav. Thank you so much. I'm sure the audiences were able to understand both the immediate as well as the long-term benefits of this program and why it is so important for these institutions to be completely vested, in this program and what it stands for, and to make sure that it's a success and it truly benefits the people that it is intended to benefit. So thank you so much for that. Dr. Jaspal, I'd like to ask you a question. If you can share how management can play an active role in mentoring and motivating students towards a successful completion of the program.
Yeah, thanks, Nupur. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So at first, I just extend my good evening to all members present in this chat panel in different roles. A very informal and warm hello to Manju, Gunjan, beneficiaries like me, Dr. Inderpreet Kaur, Shitu Ahuja, Mr. Weber, and I think we have one of the student beneficiary also, Ms. Guna, and more than 500 participants who are there watching and listening us. So I hold the position of Vice Principal in Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, and it's situated in Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. And it was established in 1999. Now coming to your question, like what could be the role of management as such? And I think in every institution who are striving to keep pace with the changing technologies and recreating their teaching learning pedagogies, a number of programs are initiated and implemented in an institute. Now the outcome, it is measured by its impact, which can be measured through performance of students in various competitive exams and placements, basically. So now the role of management, it lies in identifying those opportunities and making them available to my or our stakeholders. The strategic planning that goes involves to keep their workforce, as Gunjan and Manju mentioned, to keep their workforce updated and motivated so that we can take these opportunities and facilities and they can use them to optimum. So management plays a very important role in integrating these factors by taking risks, providing opportunities, and keeping their stakeholders abreast with new technologies. Now, I think we are also an interface, to realize the need of skill, which is needed for students and faculty. So while I came in association with Tech Saksham portal, we are talking about the 4 IR. And I think it is expected to change how we live, work, and communicate. It is also likely to change the things we value and the way we will value in future. We are already seeing the changes in the business models and employment trends. I think automation and AI, they are the change agents. So I was reading somewhere, the Economic World Forum, that 65% of the kids who are enrolled in a primary section, they'll be landing in jobs which are not created yet. So we can imagine the next decade, how much dynamic change we are expecting. So to keep our workforce abreast with it, definitely we need such initiatives which have been taken by EduNet in collaboration with giants like SAP and Microsoft. So I think one more thing, what I need to say is imparting technical skill. It has been a real challenge, while we were switching from online to offline in the past 2 years. We were learning those skills. Even the faculties were learning those skills, how we could communicate with the students in an effective manner. So those also taught us how to use those technologies to take the labs, to convey the skills to the students. So yes, I feel management definitely plays a very important role in taking these initiatives. It is a direct interface, to take these initiative skills to their institutes.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you kind of, explained that in such a clear manner, because if anything, the last 2 years has taught us that, we need to constantly be evolving. We need to constantly be changing. And there have been a lot of people who've been technology averse. I don't think COVID gave anybody an opportunity to stay averse.
Yes, and adapting to it.
Yes, and I think the only constant, as they say, is change. And I guess we were forced into, adopting technology for learning, for
Definitely.
our day-to-day needs because of COVID, but definitely planning for it in advance and upskilling
Yes.
our workforce and faculties, institutions, universities, etc., will only help in being better prepared in future. And obviously,
True.
we are hoping that there's more automation, and that's going to be the way of life. So definitely, I think this will help. So how has Tech Saksham impacted the organic growth of your organization?
Okay, so Nupur, I would say like I came to know about Tech Saksham through Atal portal, and I registered for the FDP myself and few of my colleagues. It was an hands-on experience with the robust LMS system and to track attendance, assignments and all. So then I wanted to bring that FDP to my campus, and I was striving to bring an offline teaching learning, experience to my faculties. And then I started searching for Connect. So Sandeep has been highly cooperating in organizing the FDP in my campus. And as far as the organic growth is concerned, what I feel is initiative like Tech Saksham in association with SAP, Microsoft, if our faculty are getting trained, we don't need to outsource to, upskill our faculty. And especially when no commercials are involved, that is a very important factor because we find the need to upskill our workforce and students, and that is an part of organic growth. Now, I just want to take this platform. I want to convey that it should go. This model should go for a better penetration in states like us, in cities like us, like tier 2, tier 3, just as Manju and they mentioned, the representatives. So such initiatives are definitely, contributing and bridging this gap of academia and industry. Colleges like us actually are having more pressure because we don't want rather our students to migrate due to the shortcoming of skill and technology transfer. So some handholding in the form of maybe summer or winter schools, if it can be conducted by such organizations like you, with a Giant Companies Association, would definitely add value to us. So, because of the low paying capacity, which is a shortcoming and which is a limitation which we face here in cities like Bhilai, I think such programs can definitely motivate students who are not able to access high-end, high-cost skills. So we have definitely experienced the faculty development training, but then we are yet to experience the student training. So I think I'll be definitely making my students a part of this initiative, and it reaches out to them, and they will. I want them to experience this training and this initiative. So one more thing, if some sort of center of excellence, or probably even in the form of enhancing our existing labs, that can definitely, help us to go for further organic growth of our institutes. So I'm really looking forward to make my students a part of this program and take, the benefit of this upskilling opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jaspal. I think you've touched upon some very, very critical aspects. As much as we'd all like to shy away from things, I'm glad you've brought them to the, forefront by, acknowledging the fact that cities, tier 4 cities, tier 3 cities, even some tier 2 cities, we definitely have challenges of lower pay scales, etc. And I think like Manju and Gunjan both kind of mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, the idea is to make things more accessible to students locally rather than having them to kind of move for education, skills, etc. outside, because let's face it, I mean, it's not really an option for everyone. There could be other limiting factors, etc. So definitely, I think, and you've given some great ideas here about having a center of excellence, etc. So I'm sure Gunjan and Manju are making notes, and I'm sure they'll incorporate some of these inputs into the future planning of this program as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So I would just like to add, like, we are already engaged with ECEL activities and business incubation centers to provide, small support to the students as well as some initial startups. So I really welcome, and I'm looking forward how I would be able to associate my students further with this Tech Saksham program, which is doing great for society. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. With that, I'd like to welcome Guna Sundri, and as a participant of the Tech Saksham program who has personally benefited from this program, I think I can speak for all of us. We are all very, very keen and very excited to hear about your experience. So welcome, Guna Sundri. I can't see you. Maybe your video is off. Can you hear me, Guna Sundri? I think you're on mute. Yes, I can see you. I can see you. Can you hear us? Can you say something?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes, yes, absolutely. We can hear you and we can see you. And welcome to the program. So let me just ask you, as a participant, why did you, what prompted you to join this training? Why did you join this training program?
Good evening, everyone. And back to the question. I'm currently pursuing my final year BE at GC Tanjavur. And the reason for choosing engineering is my father. My father always wanted me to become a software developer, and also I'm also interested in coding skills. During my first year, I learned Python, but after that, I had no any means to study or learn Python or any other coding skills. In my final year, I come to know about Tech Saksham, and that time I realized that this is the way to learn something more creative and more innovative, and also to achieve my career, I joined Tech Saksham.
Okay, wonderful. So what was your learning through this training? What was your learning like?
Okay, they gave me 3 choices. Among that, I took up web development and digital marketing. Within a short period, I learned about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. Along with that, I'm currently learning about DBMS. And also, I attended some expert sessions about cloud computing and some future jobs. And also, I attended some soft skills sessions, like how to communicate in interview. And also, I attended some mock interview sessions now.
Okay, great. And how did the faculty support you through this?
My batch was assigned designer. She was so nice, and she supported me every stages. She was more kind, and she supported everyone. If we ask doubts, without hesitations, she will clear the doubts. And Tech Saksham classes are not usual boring classes. They are. Ma'am will make the classes more interactive and allow us to explore the course more, and we will execute the code and we will get the output instantly. That was more interesting. Then when I have an interview with the EY, she assisted me with learning resources, and she sent some practice solutions, and throughout the process she supported me, and moreover that she motivated me, she boosted me, so I got more confident to crack the interviews, and so I got offer from EY, and I'm so grateful to be a part of Tech Saksham.
Wonderful. It's very endearing to hear that you got such great support from your faculty. I think anybody who allows you that freedom to kind of be creative, explore while learning is something that always helps. So I'm really glad you had that support during your learning. So what are your future plans after this training, after completing your graduation?
Okay, since my training, I received 2 offers now, and to improve my skill and to gain a valuable experience, I wish to work amongst the experienced people, and also I have to fulfill all my parents' needs because they are my world, and I have to create a world of happiness for them.
Very true, very true. That's on a softer note, that's very important. I think that's something that all of us aspire for. So, how did the program really change your life?
Before Tech Section, I'm not doing anything good to achieve my career. After Tech Section, I got 2 offers now, and I can attend any interviews now. Before Tech Section, I have only 1 or 2 skills to update in my resume, but I know more than 5 skills now, and I can attend more interviews very quickly now.
Great. All the best to you. Any advice you'd like to give to the students who are listening to you right now?
Yes, even though I had my town don't have any opportunities, I continuously studied through the websites, and with the help of to office now. So I request everyone to keep this support.
Gunasundari, I think you're not very clear. Network seems to be a little off. Could you just repeat that?
Can you hear now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Can you just repeat the last bit? I think perhaps there's been a network issue at her end, but nonetheless, I think I pretty much did ask whatever I wanted to ask of her. So thank you so much, Gunasundari, if you're listening in. I'm sure hearing about the benefits of the program from your own personal experience will give the required confidence and motivation to other aspiring women in our audience tonight. I would also like to thank all the dignitaries and beneficiaries representing the Tech Saksham partnership. I would now invite Mr. Vaibhav Oswal, Director of Programs from EduNet Foundation, to present Tech Saksham Fireside Chat virtual event summary and share the takeaways of the event. Over to you, Vaibhav.
Hey, thanks, Nupur. I think so. This has just been amazing and inspirational session. I think so for all of us. I'm sure I can say for on behalf of all the participants, right? First of all, I think so. Kudos and thanks to both Microsoft and SAP for collaborating towards this initiative, which is really driving that ecosystem across all the stakeholders involved, right? And like Manju said, right, it's all about that power of partnerships, right? Where 2 industry giants like Microsoft, SAP have come together along with a lot of support from the academia and the government partners, right? And also as we go ahead, we want to scale that up, which in a form that it's not just addressing towards as skilling the students, but actually addressing so many aspects, right? When Manju spoke about bringing the inclusivity in the workspace, when Gunjan spoke about getting the workforce ready in that sense, right? So that they know what kind of jobs are available. I think so. Dr. Bagga mentioned that a lot of students will essentially end up jobs in few years which don't even exist as of now. That's how the technology has been changing and revolutionizing the space, right? And more importantly, I think so. Building that sustainable ecosystem, which enables that, like Gunjan mentioned, which enables that the program reaches to a stage where it is so self-sustainable through the champions or the change makers, like Manju mentioned, we can create within the ecosystem, right? Who can help us sustain and drive this thing ahead and so on. And I think so events like this are just something really great because it has helped us to actually pause, look at where we started, how the journey has been, right? What impact we have created and where we want to go ahead from here right now, right? When Manju mentioned, hey, we don't know whether it's going to be Tech Saksham 2.0, but definitely a 1.1 with such great ideas coming from all faculties and students, about different aspects of what could be done more to add to the value to the program and so on. And we have heard some great examples of how the program has in its current shape already delivered an impact. When Gunasundari mentioned about hey, it was my aspiration of my father to become a make me as a software developer, and when she said to work for the happiness of the family, right, it is the impact, I think so, beyond yes training and skilling, right, the impact which we are driving to meet the aspirations of the students in that sense, right. When it comes to faculty, it's all about ensuring, when Dr. Shitu mentioned, ensuring to the needs of the university or a college, when they don't have the necessary infrastructure or expertise at their end to drive this one and so on kind of stuff. And Dr. Bagga mentioned, I think so, bang on, that the college leadership, the universities are a very important stakeholders, right, in the same ecosystem, who can help us drive and deliver that change. I think so with all these things, I am all thrilled, and I think so I can say that on behalf of all the teachers, my team out there who's implementing the program, that we are here to take the program to the next level, and very excited to roll this out, Tech Saksham 1.1 or 2.0, right? And to all the teachers, students, college management out there, thanks for all your support in delivering this program for us. So quick summary as a key takeaways as, please emphasize on the relevance of the future of jobs, or the need of skilling for your students and teachers from that perspective, and how programs like these can help us bridge that academia and industry divide to really end in the sense that India for the world. Very four powerful words if we just sink into it, right? And I hope we can use this program to drive that movement and so on. So thanks, Nupur. Thank you very much for hosting us and doing this event today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Weber. I think one thing I can say very confidently is the pride, the energy, the enthusiasm, and the perpetual smiles on the faces, tells me that this is a much loved program. I think people are enjoying, people including, of course, Manju and Gunjan, who, of course, for them, it's like their baby and it's very close to their heart, but everybody from, the faculties of colleges, management of colleges, Guna Sundari herself, I think great sharing this space, great hosting this space. So thank you so much. I'd like to call upon Ms. Sandeep Kaur from the EduNet Foundation to share her vote of thanks.
Thank you, Nupur. Thanks a lot. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandeep Kaur, and it is a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on the occasion today. So on behalf of EduNet Foundation and Tech Saksham program, I would like to extend thanks to Ms. Manju Dasmana, Lead Community Affairs, Corporate Social Responsibility at Microsoft India, for her stewardship, support, vision, and commitment towards enablement and empowerment of education system through initiatives like Tech Saksham. I like to thank Mr. Gunjan Patel, Regional Director and Head of CSR, SAP Indian Continent, for his valuable contribution, guidance, and encouragement in our efforts, and to highlight need for such collaboration in a uplifting and enabling ecosystem. My gratitude also goes, and my thanks also goes to our panelist, Ms. Shitu Ahuja from DSEU Delhi, Dr. Jispal Bagga from SSTC Bhilai, Chhattisgarh, for their valuable participation in the program. And we have collaborated and taken the Tech Saksham initiative to our learners in the ecosystem. We look forward to these collaborations in future too. I would also like to thank Mr. Weber Wotswal, Director Programs from EduNet Foundation, for briefing all the audience about the Tech Saksham vision and mission towards greater benefit of our society. I am thankful to Ms. Guna Sundari, who's from GC Thanjavur, for being a motivation to all our students and partners in Tech Saksham program. We would like more students coming up and sharing their achievements on the stage with us next time. And thank you very much, Nupur, once again, for supporting us in this initiative, for taking care of this particular event for us. So once again, thanks to all the participants for their participation and their valuable time. Finally, I leave you all with this inspiring quote: success comes from taking the initiative and following up, persisting, eloquently expressing the depth of your passion. What simple action could you take today to produce a new momentum towards success in your life? So once again, thank you very much for your valuable time and participation.
Thank you, Sandeep. Can I request our Tech Saksham co-founders Manju and Gunjan and all our dignitaries for a quick group photograph, if you can all have your cameras on. Sandeep, do let me know once the photograph is done.
Yes. Yes, we were waiting for Surendra also to be part of the photograph.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. And I think for the band we will be clicking the picture. Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. We've taken the picture. We've taken the group photograph.
Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks, Surendra. As we draw towards the close of this event, I would like to extend our thank you and appreciation to the audience for their participation and, of course, their valuable time this evening. Thanks once again to all the panelists for such an insightful conversation on an initiative which has a deep, meaningful purpose and, more importantly, a very measurable impact. I would personally like to acknowledge your efforts in orchestrating a better workspace with more opportunity. So thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, and have a great evening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening.